Hello and welcome back to How Would You Edit This Photo. This is part 4 of the wildlife edition of this series. And happy World Kindness Day! Today is World Kindness Day, where we spread love, we spread happiness, and we do a random act of kindness to a stranger on the street. So my act of kindness for today was I rang in sick for work today, so I kindly gave someone my responsibilities for today, so that person has a job and now can feed his family today on me.
Sure.
I'm doing my part.
And if I've earned it, why not use your kind act for today and make someone really happy by liking this video and maybe going as far as subscribing to the channel. So welcome, my name is Stephen Morris and welcome to this channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new around here, we do Lightroom tutorials and follow along edits. And don't forget to download this exact image with the link in the description and post your edits to hashtag SJMPhotos88 on Instagram, and I will review your posts in a follow-up video. The subject today is this gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful peacock, where we are going to try to capture the essence of the vibrant colours of this species, and we are actually going to try and dampen down the background of this image to make it more appealing to the eye. So at the moment I'm just sitting back and I'm just squinting my eye to see if there's any distractions in this image, and I don't think there is. I kind of like the rainfall that's coming down. When I took this image, it was a very dark, very grainy, dull, cloudy day, and the peacock was actually perched on a picnic table. So while I'm taking this picture, I am knees deep in mud. So just picture that for a second, and yes, this is how I got this shot. For me, the temperature is a bit too cool for me, even though the camera did an okay job with the white balance in this occasion. For me, it's a little bit too cool, so I'm just going to warm it up by going up the slider, and I'm just going to go up on the tint to the pink side of things. The goal for this image, I'm trying to make the colours in the background complement the subject of the image as well, which is why I want to get the basics right first, the foundation of the colours. So this is where we're going to start. So the next thing, I'm going to go to my highlights. The highlights at the moment, they're okay, but I just want to go ahead and just see what will happen if I just take the highlights out altogether. See, I knew it. I knew there was no highlights there that I could play with, so I'm just going to take the highlights out of them completely, and I'm going to bring up the shadows as well. Let's take this peacock out of the darkness and show him the light. And now with all that done, I'm just going to counteract that with a bit of contrast, bringing up that contrast to around 33. Again, all this complements the basic image of where I'm trying to go to, and then once all the fundamentals are done, then we can get into the real nitty gritty stuff. We'll be using some adjustment layers today, and we're going to go crazy on the tone curve, and maybe even go to the HSL slider and adjust some of these colors and see if we can bring those beautiful colors out that are just hiding in the peacock's feathers, and we can actually bring them out. So stick around and we will see what this image will look like by the end of the video. I'm going to go down to the blacks for a second. The blacks and the clarity slider kind of go hand in hand. If you go negative on the blacks, the subject will pop, but if you increase the clarity, also your subject will pop. But at the moment, I'm just going to bring those blacks down to see if we can do something with that. So if I bring this one down, you can just see what I was working with on the day. On the left hand side, you can just see where the sort of mist was just lingering, and just by playing around with the blacks and the shadows, I've managed to just get rid of that. So now I'm left with a more saturated background. You can now see the colors, whereas on the left image they were just dull. So I've just brought them out, just little subtle movements, and now we've got something to play with. Now I know I said blacks and clarity go hand in hand, but I think I'm going to bring up the clarity as well and see what that looks like. Now yes, now he's really starting to pop. We can even start seeing the rainfall that was there already. It's really starting to come together a little bit more. Now I'm going to go on to the tone curves. I'm going to take care of some shadows, the lights and the highlights. I'm going to bring up the shadows. I'm also going to place 3 anchor points, one for the darks, one for the midtones, and one for the highlights. I'm going to bring down the darks. Just by doing that, you can see the image coming together quite nicely. I'm going to bring down the midtones, and I've just played around with the highlights, so it's just hovering around that trend line. I don't want to make too much subtle movements with the highlights, but I've just made some adjustments there. And then lastly, I'm just going to bring the overall highlights of the image down. And there we have it. We've just increased the shadows. Just to summarize, we increased the shadows to give a grainy effect. The midtones have come down and the highlights have just been altered. Just again, trying to bring out this color of the feathers, so when we do come down to the HSL slider, we've now got something to work with, and that's all I was trying to do. Let's press Y again, so let's get rid of that, and now we have a playing field where we can actually make this peacock pop. What I do like about this image though is the background. The background of the colors are just amazing. It's like it's autumn at this moment, so I managed to capture what was left of the leaves on the trees. And this is the only tree that had bloody leaves on it, and the colours were still there. It was kind of like it hasn't caught up that we're in winter yet. So, and where this peacock was standing on a picnic table, it just made for an incredible shot. So I'm not going to play around with the hue because I like the colours. I'm actually going to use those colours and just increase their natural blend of colour in the image by increasing the oranges, yellows, and possibly the greens. So at the moment I'm just going to increase the oranges. You can go too far, but like I said, this is my image. I can do what the hell I want with it, so I know what I'm trying to go with, and I hope you are too. So let's bring the yellows up as well. The greens have kind of been lost. There's some moss in the trees, and there's some little, believe it or not, there's actually some green leaves left in England, so we're going to try to emphasize them by increasing it. And now let's try to take care of these colors that are just hiding in the feathers. I'm going to increase the aquas, and I'm obviously going to increase the blue, so you can just see the aqua coming away from the surrounding blue feathers. So let's counteract that with a little bit of blue. And now I'm just going to sit back because we altered the background and we altered the saturation of the feathers. So I'm just going to sit back, I'm looking, I'm squinting, I'm seeing if there's any distractions. I'm pressing Y on the keyboard, I'm going back, I'm going forth. You can really see I've managed to pull some colours out of those feathers and the background, and it's making more of an appealing image at the moment. So with that said, I'm going to press illuminance, and I'm just going to alter some of the colours here. So with the oranges, I'm going to increase the luminance, so let's get them popping. There's no reason why we can't. Don't be shy on these HSL sliders. They're there for a reason. Make them pop. If the camera didn't do a good job that day, that's fine. Do it the next day, but on a computer. It's there for a reason. So let's increase the yellows. You know what? I'm actually liking more of the autumn effect. So even though we played around with the saturation of the green, they're a little bit too green for my liking. They're a little bit too popping. So I'm just going to reduce in the luminance. And let's not forget our subject. Our subject is this beautiful peacock. Yes, the camera did a very good job, but he still is not the hero yet. We need to make him the hero. So let's adjust the aqua. There's a lot of aqua in the feathers, so let's really take them out. Let's take advantage of what he's given us today. So let's bring those aquas up in the luminance slider. Let's go up to 42. And blues as well. Let's bring those up. And I can just see subtle purple tones as well, which I didn't play around in the saturation. But if they're already there, by playing around with the luminance, they should already just come away from where they are and just mixing with the amazing colours that the peacock already has. And there we go, we really have something to work with now. Let's press Y again, let's look back, let's sit back, and yes, I'm happy. And let's go ahead and increase the vibrance and saturations of the whole image itself. So let's increase the vibrance of everything. Let's make it sing. We're trying to make something unique here, so let's do that. Let's do something out of the ordinary, and let's bring up the vibrance. Let's bring up the saturation as well. Some people may find this a little bit too saturated. For me, this is going on my wall, so I want this to be a head-turning image. So with your images, you do what you want. This is how I like it. Show me what you've done at hashtag SJMPhotos88, and let's continue. Let's press Y again on the keyboard. And with all the foundations done, let's do the most exciting thing. Let's start cropping our image. I'm going to go for a 4x5, so I may very well put this on Instagram. So if all of you don't know, 4x5 is kind of the default crop image that Instagram kind of favors. So I'm just going to do a 4.5. But also, a little secret here. I've got some very nice negative space here, some dead space. There's not a lot going on here, but I like minimalistic photos. So I'm going to put my peacock on the bottom third of the image, and I'm going to use this dead empty space. Let's press done. Let's see what this looks like. Yes, I like that. I'm going to keep with that. Let's press Y. Yes, definitely. I'm going to keep to that crop, and let's do the best thing of all. Let's do some effects. Like I said, this is where your artistic creativity comes out, and this is where mine comes out. So I'm going to do my adjustment brush, and the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the adjustment brush and just paint all his blue feathers. I'm going to add some clarity. I'm going to adjust the shadows and maybe a bit of contrast, because he's still not popping for me. So at the moment, I'm just going to increase the exposure. I'm going to bring him out of the shadows by increasing the highlights. I'm then going to counteract that by increasing a little bit of contrast, and then pull him away from the darkness even more by increasing those shadows. Let's make this beauty pop for us. And there we go. That's all we needed. Let's press Y to see how far we've come. Next thing, I'm going to do a little adjustment brush on his eye. As you can see, the light was coming down, and I want to emphasize that. So we're just going to increase everything here just a little bit. So let's increase the exposure. Now I'm just going to play around with the contrast and the shadows just by increasing the contrast to 20 odd. That's about right, and then increase not the highlights, the shadows. Going to bring those eyes up quite a bit, and then let's put some definition in those eyes as well. And there we go. I'm going to press done. I'm going to sit back, get ready for the result. Boom! Oh my god! Look at the transformation on that, and I absolutely love the cropping of this image. I love how he's just perched there. Oh, I like that word. How he's just perched on the bottom third of this image, creating this very nice minimalistic empty space effect. So this is what I did. What did you do? Don't forget, you can download this exact image in the description. It is a raw file, so please go ahead and download that. And don't forget to like and subscribe. It really means a lot. And there's only one last thing left to do. Press Y on your keyboard to see how far you've come. Press Y again to let go of the past. Double tap L to accept your future. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I've been Stephen Morris. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We do all this all the time, so thank you very much, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.